Hey guys, it's me Ashley with Staying Strong with Ashley. I kind of switched up my position a little bit, just somewhat comfy right here for now. But today I want to talk about how many kids do you have? The age-old question that I know I personally get, and if you have lost a child, you get two. I probably don't get that as much now as when I was married, and/or when I was going through a divorce. But I think it's also important to recognize them, right? So, how many kids do you have? Well, for me, I have 3 children that passed away. And so I usually tend to say something like, well, I have 3 stillborns, but people don't really know what that means. So I kind of let it be. Or I'll say, I have 3 children that passed away, or sometimes I won't say anything. It kind of depends on the situation. It depends on how, if people are really there or not, what that looks like. I think it is important to remember them, though. And I think it's important to say to them, hey, this is it, I know some friends who have had kids before, lost a baby, and then had kids after. And I know some people who have had kids before, lost baby, or, all those things, like have had stillborns and then had a rainbow baby, all those things. And so, I just think in general, when you've lost a baby, especially when you've already put so much time and effort into that child, which I feel like is almost every time, right? But I know that there are some people who don't want to recognize their miscarriages at all. And so if you feel necessary to not do that, then don't do that. I know personally, as a person who has gone through stillborns, I think that our society system of what a stillborn is at 20 weeks is atrocious, because anytime you deliver a baby and it is not you had to actually physically deliver that baby, which most of the time happens between 14 and 20 weeks, how can you decide that that's a miscarriage? It doesn't make sense, right? But I digress. The point is, though, what do you say? What do you say when someone asks you? I want to honor my kids. I want to be able to say to people, hey, yeah, these are my children. These were the children that I birthed, that I made, that I carried, that I felt, and for some people who haven't, who have had babies who passed away afterwards, those are children that they got to hold and got to see and got to grow up, And so I think it's important when we're asked, how many children do you have, that we're honest, that we say, oh, I have 3, but 1 passed away. Or I have 5, but 3 passed away. Whatever that's like. Because I personally, as someone, when I have kids again, because I will, I don't want to dishonor my children that have passed away and that I've already had by not saying that I have them, right? I want my future children to know that they had brothers and sisters in heaven, that they have the surrounding of these beautiful angels, and that, hey, they had siblings. Yes, it might be awkward for them or for other people, but guess what? When they say, did you have siblings? Yeah, I have siblings in heaven. How easy is that for them? especially if they're little kids. So then they say that, and the kids are like, oh, okay, and then you move on, So I know, as someone who, that's what I'm going to do for my children. If you find it difficult, if you don't understand what to do, if you're confused on that, whatever option works for you. Some people, I know, like I said before, if they had miscarriages, they just never would say anything. How many kids do you have? Oh, I don't have kids. And then later they might feel bad, or they might feel fine. I know it's hard when it comes to specifically miscarriages on saying how many children you have, because there are many people who have had multiple miscarriages. And it can be hard to bring that up for them by saying, oh, I've had 5 miscarriages, you know, or I've had 1 or 2 or whatever it is. But those are still babies. Those are still little babies that, although they couldn't be here, they were still a part of you. And so I'm always, I don't want to say proud, but I'm always honored when someone tells me how many kids they've had, and especially when they've lost kids, because it's an honor to even know that those babies are, you know, we're part of that person's life, you know, because they're a part of everyone's life. The worth that we have in our children, the worth that we give our children, is based on our love for them. And I'm not saying if you don't do that, that you don't love them. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that our child's memory and love that we have for them, that's the amount of worth that we place on them, not what other people place on them, right? So each baby, each miscarriage, each stillborn, its love and care and worth comes because you cared and loved and cherished that baby, right? So to say to somebody that you have that baby shows that you love and care for them and said, yes, this is it. Now, if you feel that you cannot talk about it, if you're like, this is too taboo, people won't understand, to say that I miscarried or say I stillborn, like, you know, whatever works for you, honestly. But I am always honored and I'm always touched when someone who's miscarried or stillborn or had a baby that passed away from SIDS or anything and tells me that they've had those things. They have those children. I don't say those things, those children, right? Because that means that I can now cherish and love and care with that person and know, hey, that person had gone through something hard. You know, miscarriages and stillbirths and SIDS, and those are hard things. And now I can say, hey, that person went through something hard, but their love showed me that I can love them even more and deeper, and that they were vulnerable with me, right? Because when you tell someone, hey, I have, personally, right, I'm going to take myself, I have 3 stillborns, I have 3 babies that passed away. That takes a lot of courage, right? People don't know how to respond to that. People don't understand what that means, and they definitely don't understand how to say anything afterwards. Here's an example. Ashley, do you have how many children do you have? Oh, I have 3 stillborns. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, right? That's what people do. They don't know how to respond. I don't know why it's such a taboo thing. I don't know why people get super awkward about it, but they don't. So when someone says that to me, I just find the empathy and the care that they trusted me and were vulnerable with me to say that they had that, right? That they had those children. So I think in reality, how many kids do you have is always going to be a topic on my mind, on other people's minds, on a consistent basis, to just say, oh, what does this look like for that person to be open with me? And when they are open and say that, to not shy away from it, but to show care and love, and to be like, hey, that must have been hard. Thank you for telling me. Because guess what? We just want to be loved. We just want to show love. We just want our babies to feel loved and to cared for and to know that they were here, you know. That's ultimately what it is. If you have any other suggestions, maybe I didn't catch yours, maybe I'm wrong in some way, you know, comment below. If you have anything else you want me to talk about, definitely comment below as well. Otherwise, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.